Welcome back everyone. You're watching the training week from April 28th, where the weekly focus was trying to add the Pegan to the start of the high bar routine, more P-bar routines. On Thursday I did some cleaning, did some recording in slow motion of a few Colemans, just focusing on those straight knees through the bottom. And this was the last week of training before light week, so did more than I usually do. Did releases on Monday, which obviously I don't usually do, but it was another short week that we didn't have training on Saturday, so all the more reason to crank it pretty hard. Almost cranking my head on that bar pretty hard too right there, fam. And ever since I dropped the serious Pegan Coleman training, I'm noticing quite a drastic decrease in consistency in Pegans. But I know that's all a part of it. You start doing more skills day in, day out, and your energy system adapts to the new training regimen. So the goal now, of course, is to get those Marises in action. And let me tell you, fam, I'm struggling. We treated Monday as a pre-comp, and I did my pretty much like a competition run through on Tuesday. I've been loving doing these giant diami drills, not worrying about the last half of the skill, not worrying about catching, but just isolating that initiation, getting my legs glued together. You see, when I do it like that, legs are together. It's beautiful. And it's starting to have a flow-on effect into the actual giant diami at the end of my routine. I'm a little bit more in touch with what's going on there, and I actually feel like I know what I'm doing rather than guessing and hoping for the best. So Tuesday was the first day where I thought I'd give the Pegan at the start of the routine a try. I want to say I've done at least 5 full 14-5 routines, minus the Stelda, of course, which if you're a Patreon, you'll see the first Stelda post-operation during the light week. I did a Stelda, you know. I got Pegan Coleman before I got a Stelda. So I did do those routines without a Stelda, so with the Stelda it'll be a 14-5 start value. So I feel like I'm ready to make the next move, which is to add the Pegan. On Tuesday I did my high bar warm-up, I did my P-bar warm-up, and then I went to chuck the hoodie on, and fam, it's getting cold. I'm glad I got the Pegan Coleman while it was still warm, because training in the cold is brutal. So I did that warm up, and then I went and sat for about 20, probably more than 20 minutes, just sat around, came back to do my one touch and straight into the routine. So completely different, prep, and it's so much harder when you're just sitting around doing nothing for a long time, which is likely what I'm going to have to do for most of the competitions this year. The bar dries up, your hands dry up. Took a bit longer to do that grip, 238. Let's see how it went. P-bar's going pretty well though. The amount of routines I've done is pretty substantial. So I think from here on out, like those little hand placements and things like that need to be the priority. And initially you have to kind of move away mentally from thinking, okay, I just got to hit this routine. This is the one that counts. You got to move away from that line of thought. Be okay with stuffing up, brutally said, just to really isolate and double down on those point ones, Tried to get the chest up, and I did, but obviously quite a big hop there. One touch on high bar. So since then I've decided I'm just going to hop over like I usually do, with both hands instead of one hand. That's the one touch. Did spontaneously just send a Coleman out of one of them. I think it was on the Friday. It's been a while since I haven't connected at all since I caught it, and it was my first connection since catching it. It's kind of spontaneous decision, caught it in a very nice distance, and literally just on the way up during the giant I decided to, alright, I'll let go, I'll do a double back full over the bar. I caught the Pegan on the first salute, and the rest of the routine is going to be tough. Not too bad on the stoop, a bit flat, and too far on the G2. So still feeling the waters, just adding that Pegan at the start. I'm hopping over, I'm doing 3 giants, I'm doing a big release, another giant, a blind change, and then the routine that I've been doing all after that. So adding the Pegan at the start is a huge chunk. It's only one skill, but again, it's 0.6 to the start value. So, it's worth it. And I did get through it on Friday, so I know that I do have somewhere within me the endurance. Now, man, those knees, I like those knees. Dare I say, no deductions for the knees if I'm wearing long pants. So where was I going next? I forgot what I was going to say next. I had an idea. So yeah, we got mock comp this week. I might do it if I can find some coaching cover for my usual group, because I think it would be quite beneficial for me to actually put on a uniform and do some routines, not being by yourself. Or obviously there's a whole different dimension when you're surrounded by, not only other people but judges, right? Saluting in front of judges, and there is going to be a judge at the mock comp. So I might see if I can slot myself in. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but this Friday, TriStar is having a senior mock comp, and I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I know what P-bar routine I would do, but fam, what high bar do I do? There's a lot of thoughts in my mind in that regard. I usually train in the mornings. The mock comp's going to be late in the evening, and high bar is going to be last at Prada, so we're talking like late, probably after 7 p.m. So, I was thinking this week, if I make another first half with the Pegan at the start, all right, I'll send the big one at the mock comp. But I didn't come anywhere near making a good first half this week. So I'm in a bit of a dilemma. Do I just do the routine that I've been getting through, or do I try the upgrade? And my thought there is, well, the 14.5, it's more of just like a base to get started. And the thing is, like, you can, water down, take out a Pegan, but with a Gaylord 2 and a Pi Gaylord, it's like there's no guarantees you're going to hit any routine, so in terms of growth, doing the Pegan routine is number one, but then you got to consider safety. So I might have to just go by feel on the day, and if I'm feeling good, then try the 5.1 or 5.0 without the Stelda. Or if I'm feeling, sometimes you got vertigo, you're a bit dizzy, and there's a metal pole in your face. So if we're in that state, then gonna have to make the right call. So shout out to Logan for some mat slides on the Thursday. Allowed me to isolate my knees through the bottom. If you've been watching for a while, you know that this has been a decade-long battle where I cannot straighten my knees through a tap at the bottom. End of last cycle, I think I actually pretty much had it. The only skill that I remember I really couldn't do it on was Casino, but Coleman and Dismount, I managed to get to the point where I was locking my knees through the bottom. An idea I had, back half to my stomach. And it's like the same situation when I first started trying double back fulls into the pit. I just did not want to twist it. Something just does not want to twist it. Like most, I don't like landing on my stomach. So I thought maybe this is a way to upgrade my drilling for the double back full, but it just looks a bit, yeah, I don't know. These dismounts, they're not my thing, but it's worth so much. That, and there's really nothing much else to pursue. I did have a thought the other day, maybe I get back to the Giant Makutes. Giant Makutes is an F, And that's a 0.3 upgrade right there, but then that would have to be 7th skill. You know, doing F's 2nd skill, and that F being the most inconsistent skill in the routine, there's really nowhere else I could put it. I don't want to do Peach Peach 1 bar later in my routine. I don't want to do Peach later in my routine. Giants are the easiest on grip, and my whole P bar routine is underbar. So that was a completely spontaneous call, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. So pretty much if I catch at a good place, I know how to do the Coleman safely. But yeah, it shows you how indecisive I am. It's supposed to be Maris, but here I am sending Colemans again. So here's the first full routine with a Pegan. I wasn't saluting, it was more just, you know, experimenting. But I got through, and to my surprise, I had the endurance to do a comfortable dismount at the end of the set. That's going to be the crux of the routine. Pike Gaylord 4th, when you're literally dizzy, you have no clue where you are in the giant. It feels right now very difficult, you know. So with that, the more times I get to that part of the routine, the more times I actually do the Pike Gaylord as a 4th skill, you know, I'm going to adapt. But it's, for now, going to be very rare. So yeah, stoked. Didn't expect to get it done, but got it done. I was very, very happy with that. Stick around till the end. World Clips of the Week is back in action. And today, fam, 2 more Pegan Colemans. 2 more Pegan Colemans have been done pretty quickly, within like a month or 2 after I did mine. So that was super exciting to see. We're going to break it up in just a wee bit. But first we got a P-bar routine on the Friday. Warming up. How long it took today, fam? How long it took today? I don't know what the ideal would be, like what's realistic to aim for. So that took a bit longer, 2:45. Plus there's up to another 30 seconds before I actually mount the bar. So I don't know, like sometimes, you know, 3 minutes is about what it takes between the guy in front of you and your turn. But like if it's a short and clean routine, which many of the New Zealanders are doing, you know, that might be a much quicker turnaround. So I'm not actually sure what to aim for. You know, I don't know how much below 2 minutes would be realistic. Probably 2 minutes would be like a cap. I don't think I could do it any faster than 2 minutes. And plus, if you're just scurrying like a madman, you know, it's kind of exhausting. Like you're using your forearms and stuff to grip the chalk into the bar. And by the time you salute, you're already a little bit, you know, you've been using quite a bit of muscle just to do the bar. So you want to kind of balance it out, not go too hard. Maybe I'm just being too delicate. Just get that bloody grip done, take your turn, do your routine. No full twists today, as you can tell. Yep, not too happy. Not too happy. Didn't quite have the juice, but a massive week. Lots of gymnastics this week, so of course, gonna be tired, gonna be fatigued. Whip feeling good, but man, that ankle that I broke, you know, before the end of last year, it's, especially now that it's getting cold, it hurts. You know, we don't have the luxury in New Zealand where the gym is at a constantly perfect temperature for the athlete. It's always, you know, we have heaters and things like that, but you know, you don't really use them until it's like really cold, untrainable cold. But hey, grateful for what I have. So I think couple rings clips. Soon is it time to bail from handstand, fam? Is it time to do the giant from handstand soon? I reckon in the next few weeks, if everything's feeling stable, could give the giant a shot from handstand. So we're going to start world clips of the week with Josh Carnes. Josh Carnes from Penn State, possibly the 6th man, if I'm counting right, to get Pegan Coleman. And again, you know, there might be more. I know there's plenty of guys in Russia that go over the bar both ways, probably in Japan as well, but we're just counting on all the videos that are out there. And Josh has a pretty clean one, not much of a foot separation, throwing a cheeky Miyachi there at the end. Legs are pretty good. Bang, so smooth, so smooth. And Fuzzy Benes, if I'm pronouncing the name right, massive Pegan. The things I'm noticing about all these guys that are great at Pegans, they keep their shoulders pressed down on the release. So, you know, maybe when I have time, routine grind's going to be over. That's something I could also experiment with. But huge shout out to these two fellas. My favorite high bar connection, and it would have taken a lifelong work for them to get it done. So thank you for watching. All the best. Till next time, appreciate all the patrons. If you'd like to support my journey to World Championships and beyond, trials at the end of June, please consider becoming a patron from just $1 a month. Till next time.